Hi everyone, good evening. I'm here for the 10 weeks of Yuktahaar project. And for people who are joining me new, let me tell that we are in the phase 3 of this project, which is week 9. And this is a very exciting phase 3, simply because phase 3 is all about reintroducing all the foods that we have restricted for the last 8 weeks in the last 2 phases. And we are not even reintroducing them, but what we are also going to do is talk about basic lifetime guidelines in the coming week. We are in week 9, there's another week to go. So what I'm going to do is not only talk about how we can reintroduce these foods, but also talk about these lifetime guidelines that should stay valid, so that you don't get confused about how to maintain this health that you have gained in the last 8 weeks. So आज का फूड क्या है जो हम लोग reintroduce करने वाले हैं? In the last 3 sessions I spoke about how we are going to reintroduce gluten back into our diets. What is the right time? किस फॉर्म में लेना है, किस तरह के रेसिपीज होने चाहिए, लंच में क्या होना चाहिए, ब्रेकफास्ट, डिनर, all of those things, and of course about barley, which is a very underestimated gluten grain. And today I'm going to talk about lactose. Lactose जो है वो milk and fresh soft cheese में होता है. Fresh soft cheese, very simply, if I have to give an example in the Indian context, it's paneer, या फिर जैसे mascarpone, इस तरह के जो soft cheese होते हैं, that is lactose. And this is one thing in dairy that we were restricting for all this while in the last phase 1 and phase 2. Milk and paneer is essentially the only dairy that we had restricted, because phase 2 में हम दही, छाछ, buttermilk, hard aged cheese वो सब ले रहे थे. phase 1 से तो घी continuous शुरू ही था. We had never restricted ghee ever in TBBD, and so now the last part of the dairy, which is milk and paneer, is going to become making its comeback in phase 3, and I'm sure it's like very good news for a lot of people, and बहुत लोगों के लिए बहुत ही doubtful भी है, because milk unfortunately has become a very very controversial food. ले नहीं ले, people are very confused. But if you're confused about milk, then let me tell you that please read this book, Yuktahaar, the belly and brain diet, because then you will know that what is there in milk जिसके वजह से इतनी controversy है, and do you really need to be fearful about it. So firstly, जैसा कि gluten में भी मैंने आपको बताया था, it is not about food being bad, but it is about our body not having the correct support system to be able to accept and digest some particular foods. जब हमारा बॉडी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, हमारा फिजियोलॉजी, हमारे जितने भी एंजाइम फंक्शन है, सब कुछ करेक्ट हो जाते हैं, देन एट दिस स्टेज इंजेस्टिंग और कंज्यूमिंग दीज फूड्स एक्चुअली दे पोज नो थ्रेट. This is exactly the reason why we are reintroducing milk and paneer, basically lactose, back into the plan. A lot of people who feel that they are intolerant to lactose or gluten, I can even go to the extent of saying that I can assure that at this point, if they have really finished the 2 phases and done it really well, like the way it is explained in the book, then इस वक्त phase 3 में they are really going to see a difference in how they will be able to now digest gluten and lactose. So this is one of the major changes that happens, because हमने अपने पूरे gut microbiome को reboot कर दिया है, पूरे फिजियोलॉजी को चेंज कर दिया है, एंड देयरफॉर मिल्क एंड पनीर इज नॉट गोइंग टू बी अ प्रॉब्लम एनी मोर. मिल्क और पनीर लेना ही क्यों है? अगर हम इसकी बात करें तो इसको लेना इसीलिए है बिकॉज milk and dairy, we know these are like the most bioavailable forms of calcium, of some essential fatty acids, of calcium and proteins. And also we know that agar hum there is one thing that I've always said and I'm going to repeat, and that is that I am a firm believer that you can say that you're healthy only when you're able to digest all kinds of food, only when you're able to enjoy all kinds of food. अगर हम हमेशा इस जोन में रहे कि नो आई एम अ डेयरी फ्री पर्सन, आई एम अ ग्लूटेन फ्री पर्सन, आई एम अ शुगर फ्री पर्सन, आई एम दिस फ्री पर्सन, आई एम दैट फ्री पर्सन, then you will always also be a health free person because health will never come to you. So we have to understand that अगर हम हर तरह की चीज को enjoy करना, उनको digest करना, कि हम कुछ भी खाएं हम ठीक ही रहेंगे, I'm going to stay healthy no matter what I eat. If we stay in that zone, no matter what I eat, when I say I mean a variety of everything that is out there, then we can say that I am healthy. That's a definition of good health. Definition of good health is not going on talking about कि मैं ये free हूँ और मैं gluten free हूँ और मैं ये free हूँ और मैं वो free हूँ. Of course, we stayed gluten free and milk free for certain weeks. The reason is really very nicely explained in the book. I don't want to go ahead talking about the same reasons again and again. But now, as I have been saying, that you do not have to restrict these foods for a lifetime. If for example आप milk नहीं लेना चाहते हैं, let's take that thing, because a lot of people are vegan by choice. There are certain people who feel कि नहीं milk उनको सूट करता ही नहीं है whatsoever. So even if you do not want to consume milk, I would say that's a personal choice. I'm not here to force things on you. But it should not happen कि आप उसको बिल्कुल भी ना ले, बिल्कुल भी कंज्यूम ना करें, because what happens is कि मिल्क को डाइजेस्ट करने के लिए एक एंजाइम चाहिए होता है बॉडी में, which is called lactase. And that enzyme builds only when you start consuming the food. अगर आप food जो है, milk जो है, उसको अगर आप एक साल तक नहीं पिएंगे किसी भी फॉर्म में, in your porridge, in your chai, coffee, whatever it is, but if you've stopped consuming it altogether, then in the 13th month, if you try to have it in any which ways, you will see that it's not working for you. And therefore I say that थोड़ा थोड़ा सब चीज का खाना जरूरी है. You don't want to have it on a daily basis, that's completely fine, but don't reach a zone where you're not having it completely for years together. Maybe you can have it like say once in a week if that is what you want, or once in 2 weeks, or even once in a month, but ensure that you're including all variety of food, because that is how you build a very good strong immune system. Your body knows how to receive a lot of variety of foods. Now somebody here is asking me, what about in the live session, I can read on the screen that somebody is asking me, what about the antibiotics and hormones in the milk? So that is exactly what I'm just coming to, is that the one thing, why we restrict certain foods, or why we see that certain foods doesn't suit us, is number one, it's our own internal health, which we have corrected. I'm assuming that people who are listening to me have gone through phase 1 and phase 2, and they already have seen a lot of improvements. I have met many participants in the candid chat. I'm reading all the reviews, and I'm really thankful that you guys are putting such great efforts, that everything that is written in the book is showing results. So thanks to all the efforts that you guys are putting. But the number one thing is always our own internal health. हमने वो internal health को correct कर ही लिया है, so that part is like ticked off. The second part is about the quality of that food now. कि भाई ठीक है, मेरा internal system is fine, my internal health is now fine, but does that mean that I'm going to dump any bad quality of food now? No, because then 1-2 हफ्ते 3 हफ्ते ठीक रहेगा, but then eventually again after 3 to 4 months you're going to get back all the symptoms again. So quality of food is of course something which is very important. When it was about gluten, I did tell you कि gluten का क्या अच्छा quality होना चाहिए, कैसा आटा होना चाहिए, कौन सा barley होना चाहिए. I spoke about all those things. Similarly, when it comes to milk, of course quality is important. No one is asking to have antibiotics and hormone laden milk, because I have done an exclusive live session on antibiotics also, कि हमें antibiotics किस तरह से नुकसान पहुंचाते हैं. एंड ये एंटीबायोटिक्स अगर काउस को दिया जा रहा है, या बफेलोज, या जिसका भी आप दूध ले रहे हैं उनको भी अगर दिया जा रहा है, इट्स अल्टीमेटली एंटरिंग योर सिस्टम, एंड देयरफॉर ऑफ कोर्स इट इज नॉट गुड. सो क्वालिटी ऑफ मिल्क इज डेफिनेटली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो द क्वालिटी, व्हेन आई से, आई विल टॉक अबाउट क्वालिटी in 2 parts. One is for people in India and the other is for people outside India. Why? Because milk जो है इंडिया में और आउटसाइड इंडिया में बहुत फर्क हो जाता है in the way it is sold. So number one, for people with India, in India, जो लोग इंडिया में हैं, there is something called as raw milk. रॉ मिल्क क्या होता है, बहुत सीधे साधे लैंग्वेज में बताऊं तो रॉ मिल्क वो होता है जो आपका ग्वाला आपके घर पे लेके आता है और आप ऐसे एक टोप में लेके उनके सामने खड़े होते हो और वो टोप में आपको दूध देके चला जाता है. This is what is raw milk. Now raw milk is like quite a rage in the Western countries nowadays. And why is it such a rage in the Western countries? Let me tell you. Because raw milk जो होता है it is quite different than the pasteurized milk. Pasteurized milk क्या होता है which you get from the dairy counters. I won't take the brands names, but if you go on any dairy counter, आप बाहर खड़े होते हो और आपको वो एक पैकेट देते हैं दूध का, that's a pasteurized milk. आप टेट्रा पैक में जो कार्टन लेके आते हैं, ऑल दैट्स पैस्चराइज्ड मिल्क. पैस्चराइजेशन होता क्या है? पैस्चराइजेशन का मतलब होता है कि वो दूध को बहुत हाई टेम्परेचर पे गर्म किया जाता है एंड देन इमीडिएटली उसको इमीडिएटली कूल ऑफ किया जाता है. सो देयर इज अ हॉट एंड कूल इमीडिएट थिंग डन. एंड व्हाट इज द रीजन दैट दे डू इट? द रीजन इज बिकॉज दे वांट टू टेक केयर ऑफ द शेल्फ लाइफ ऑफ द मिल्क. Which is pretty obvious that they would want to do that. And उसके चक्कर में क्या होता है, not only do they get rid of all the impurities and the germs and stuff, the pathogens, but also what happens कि मिल्क में जितने beneficial चीजें हैं, क्या चीजें हैं? essential fats हैं. सबसे बड़ी चीज जो एक एंजाइम होता है natural raw milk में, which is called lactase. So lactase is the enzyme which is present in raw milk. And ये lactase enzyme जो है ये हमारे बॉडी में लैक्टोज को डाइजेस्ट करने में हेल्प करता है. लैक्टोज मतलब मिल्क को डाइजेस्ट करने में हेल्प करता है. वो एंजाइम्स ये सब जो हैं हीट सेंसिटिव है एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द पैस्चराइजेशन प्रोसेस दे ऑल गेट डिस्ट्रॉयड. सो बेसिकली पैस्चराइजेशन डज मेक योर मिल्क a little safer in terms of the disease causing or dysentery causing bacteria and stuff, but it also makes it quite useless when it comes to talking from a very nutrient perspective. So if you are in India, as I said, I'll talk about in two phases, in India and outside India. So if you are in India, I will say go for the raw milk, because ये raw milk जो होता है, जैसे मैंने आपको बताया क्या होता है, these are not the ones जिनके lactase जो है वो destroy कर दिए गए हैं, या फिर जिनमें से सब essential fats and बहुत सारे essential amino acids खत्म कर दिए गए हैं, because they have not been subjected to that heating and cooling process. रॉ मिल्क को एक तरीका होता है गर्म करने का. वो तरीका क्या है मैंने इस किताब में लिखा है, चैप्टर 7. सो प्लीज गो अहेड एंड रीड दैट, क्योंकि रॉ मिल्क जो होता है हमें हमेशा वी हैव सीन दैट probably आई हैव सीन दैट एज अ चाइल्ड ग्रोइंग अप, कि वो घर में आता है एंड देन वी हीट इट सो दैट it becomes safe for consumption. So should we heat it? Yes, but at the same time we do not want to heat it to an extent कि उसमें से सारे enzymes चले जाएं. So what is the correct way? What is the way that we can boil the milk so that there is a balance of safety and nutrition? For that, please read this book. But yes, if you are somebody who lives in India, then go for the raw milk. The second is about the breed of cows. There's a breed which is called the Gir cow, which is from the Gujarat. And if you are a person who really goes and hangs around in all of these wellness markets and farmers markets, I'm sure you know about this breed, क्योंकि ये breed को बहुत ज़्यादा importance मिली है कुछ last few years में. Everybody wants to have Gir गाय का दूध. In fact, one of my clients, he has actually gotten some Gir cows from Gujarat to his state, which is somewhere in the east side of the country, and he is actually keeping them, domesticating them only so that his family can have Gir गाय का दूध. Again, a wrong thing to do, because I would say that हर गाय जो है वो अपनी जगह पे, अपने क्लाइमेट पे अच्छा दूध बना सकता है और अच्छे से रह सकता है. जिस तरह आप एक जगह पे ज्यादा अच्छे से रह सकते हैं, because you're used to the climate, to the food out there. And as I have done a session on how Indians, when they migrate to another country, they start putting on weight, they start getting unhealthier and start getting a lot of these metabolic diseases. Same way, a change of place and location for these animals is not a great thing to do. Each place will have its own local breed of cow. आप कोई भी जगह पे हो, there are local breeds of our indigenous breeds, और ये गाय हर जगह पे है. आंध्रा में there is something called Ongole, which is the Andhra breed. Then Karnataka mein there's Halikar, and many breeds are there. These are just few names that I'm taking, but you will have to just find out, and if you can go and speak to these cow sheds, people who are having cow sheds, and you go and speak to them कि उनके पास कौन सा ब्रीड है, वो कैसे ब्रीड करते हैं, वो गाय बीमार होती है तो क्या खिलाते हैं, do they inject hormones, antibiotics, all of those things will take a little effort from your end, but it's all worth the effort. So that is one thing for people who live in India. Now for people who live outside India, what can they do? So firstly, raw milk, as I said, is quite a rage in the Western countries nowadays. At the same time, a lot of places है outside India जहाँ पे raw milk का sale illegal माना गया है, and therefore of course if you are living at such a place जहाँ पे raw milk का sale illegal है, then of course you cannot go ahead and buy that. For example, half of the United States does not encourage the sales of raw milk. So in that case, of course you need to go for pasteurized milk. But if you are not living at such a place, then you should go and buy the raw milk, which is, as I said, quite a rage in the Western countries, and it is therefore quite easily, popularly available these days. So that is the one thing. The other thing is you may also get the Indian breed of cows, because that again is something very popular out there in the West. A lot of countries are importing Indian cows, Indian breed, knowing the medicinal benefits that their milk has. So that is something again that you can find out. The third thing is that if you do not have any of these options that I said, then what you can simply do is, you have labeled milk out there, right? Outside India, what you get is then labeled milk, and then you can simply opt for milk which says hormone free, antibiotic free. There are words like free milk from free grazing cows. So these are the things that you can look up to, because then that will at least ensure that you have, with the milk that you are having, it at least antibiotic free, hormone free. What if ये सारी चीजें अवेलेबल नहीं है, या फिर मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है, मेरी जगह पे तो होता ही नहीं है, all those things. A lot of people come and say that nahi, it's not easy, I'm not able to get hold of this kind of milk that you're saying. Is it okay if I want to stay milk free? It's completely your choice, as I said. If you go completely milk free, there is no problem. There are certain people who are vegan by choice. So again, I'm going to say that I'm not going to force myself, or I'm not going to force milk or dairy on you. But as I said, the only thing I want to ensure is that if you do not want to have it on a daily basis, like I said, you at least should have it once in a month, once in say 15 days, so that your body at least recognizes that ingredient and it doesn't become something like something that doesn't resonate with your body at all. Because if you do not, as I said, I'll repeat myself, if you continue not having milk at all for say 1 year at a stretch, then when you want to have milk in a certain, say, ice cream or kulfi or anything, आपको वो 13th month पे your body is not going to accept. So let us not get into a situation where we say that ये मुझे suit नहीं करता, because that is not what is good health. Good health is about being able to accept all kinds of food. कितना उसको एक्सेप्ट करना है, आप कितना खाना चाहते हैं, हफ्ते में एक बार या महीने में एक बार, that's completely your choice. Also, it depends on certain people's, physiology. अगर अभी phase 3 में, if you introduce milk, and if you do feel that it isn't suiting you very well, you can very well drop down the frequency. आप उसको सिर्फ चाय में ले सकते हैं पूरे दिन में एक बार, या फिर जैसे मैंने कहा आप उसको और ड्रॉप कर सकते हैं. You can just opt to have it once in a week, but don't completely eliminate it from your daily diet. That is something that I will say, that something that we should really be careful about, that no foods as such should be there that you completely do not eat. In fact, a very interesting thing I will say at this point before I wind up this session is that one of this colleagues of mine who is into Ayurveda, who practices Ayurveda, he's a doctor in fact, he told me that he in fact tells his patients to even go out and have all these carbonated soft drinks like the Coke and stuff. at least once in 6 months, he at least goes and tells them, कि वो भी जाके खाओ, go and have the pizzas and the cold drinks and everything, because of this very simple fact that he says that a body should be able to, a body should be exposed to all kinds of food. And he says that, even those kind of junk, which he knows is junk, but even those kind of junk is something that you should give to your body once in 6 months, because even that the body should know how to deal with it. Your body should recognize those foods as certain, junk or whatever it is, and your body should be able to, be equipped to deal with it, to fight with it, or whatever it is. But even to that extent, he has said that, it is something that I actually go out and tell my patients ki kabhi kabar wo bhi jaake khaya karo. You don't have to completely stop anything for that matter for years and years together. So that is what I will say is the takeaway. If you are in phase 3, I'll summarize. If you are in phase 3, your body physiology is corrected in a way already that you will be able to accept milk and paneer, basically lactose food sources, in a way that you will find very different from what it was before you started a TBBD. The number 2 plan, having said that, the right quality is definitely very, very important. So the right quality is about consuming raw milk, preferably from indigenous local breeds of cows. If that is not available, go ahead with the pasteurized milk. But when it's pasteurized, look for labels, look for stuff which is antibiotic free, hormone free, and stuff like that. Number 3, if you really are not very keen on introducing milk, that's completely fine, but ensure that you're not staying milk free for a very, very long time, because we want to expose your health, your body system to a lot of different variety of foods. So I see a few questions and I'm going to take that. Is it okay to have milk as breakfast? Only milk as breakfast? I don't think that will be quite filling for you. I don't think just milk for breakfast would be fine. What you can do is that, like we have given out so many recipes of kanjis and porridges. Even in the book it's there. Even in my Instagram reels, the recipes are there. So you can start putting milk in those porridges and in those recipes. So that is a good way that you can introduce a bit of milk. It could be just 50 ml. When I say that I want your body to be exposed to a different variety of food, something just like a 50 ml throughout the day is also fine. Or something like 100 ml once in a week or once in 2 weeks is also fine. I'm not asking you to go around and have 1 liter of milk. If at all you do want to have, even that's fine, even that's great. I mean, I'm not putting any limit on that. But what I'm just saying is, do not eliminate milk completely from your plan. So yeah, so Shapshani, if your answer basically is that, it really depends on hunger also. If you feel that just milk for breakfast is good for you, comforting enough for you, it's fine. But I doubt that would be the case. And then, as I said, you can put that in your porridge or even in your smoothies, you can put that. So the next question somebody is asking is, milk at night or morning, best time to have it? Milk, actually, any time is good. In fact, when you see, okay, now that's a good thing you asked me, because somebody, dietitian Shilpa Chawla, is asking a question. Shilpa, because I might miss your question, I'll really request you to use the question mark box, question mark symbol at the bottom of your screen, and if you can put that there, I won't kind of miss this question, because the chances are I might miss that. Okay, so if you go to chapter 10, I'm just trying to these meal plans, you see these tables, these are all tables of meal plans. So many meal plans are here. And if you go to the phase 3 meal plan, you will see the number of ways in which I've introduced milk in the phase 3 meal plan. So please, go and check these tables, because here I have told you that you can even wake up and have milk. You can have milk in your porridge or smoothie, in breakfast. I've given you options for lunch, where how you can, incorporate milk for lunch. Evening maybe in the form of a shrikhand, or maybe in the form of, say, a fruit and milk, something like that. So many ways of how you can introduce milk, and you will be surprised to see when you read these tables that I have given in chapter 10, phase 3 meal plan. Go and check that, and you will see that milk makes its appearance in my book almost everywhere, breakfast, lunch, evening, dinner, bedtime also. In fact, there are certain bedtime drinks जो मैंने chapter 10 में बताए हैं जो completely milk based है. So please go out there and read that. I think your answer you will find in chapter 10. So bedtime के लिए भी night caps हैं जो milk based हैं, which will help you go for a nice good deep sleep. And morning के लिए भी हैं, तो basically all time of the day. So dietitian Shilpa is asking, how can we have casein protein post dinner if we do workout in the morning? So casein protein and is a very different way of it's a different protein, right? So there is a casein protein and there is a whey protein. Now while I say whey is kind of good for everybody, almost everybody, and now if you're in phase 3, guys, you can even go for a whey concentrate. So a lot of people had asked me questions before that, why should I take only whey isolate, because I have always been stressing on whey isolate. So whey isolate इसीलिए लेना था for phase 1 and phase 2 because whey isolate is lactose free. Whey concentrate में lactose होता है, and now since we are in phase 3, you can go for whey concentrate if that is what you want. I still prefer whey isolate more, especially because it's like a complete, complete full packed 100% protein, almost zero carbs in whey isolate, and therefore it makes for a very good thing as a post workout thing. But if you really want to have whey concentrate, then yes, from phase 3 you can introduce whey concentrate also. Casein is a very different protein altogether, and I do not know if you're aware on why we take it. You do not take it for general health. If you have a certain fitness goal, then yes, casein is something that we can introduce. Your question was about the timing. Is bedtime the right time if you're working out in the morning? Yes, it is. There's no such thing. You can have it at bedtime also. There is no problem. But I'm just assuming that you know why you're taking it, because it is not taken just for general health stuff. The last question that I'll take is, what should one eat and avoid if they have psoriasis? So, of course, psoriasis is something that requires a one-on-one consultation, to be very honest. But if you have read the book, you will understand. So this question is from the Nilima Mandal. So Nilima, I'm assuming, I do not know if you have read this book or not, but this book actually covers a lot of anti-inflammatory stuff. Basically, this book is going to help you remove a lot of inflammation from the body. This book also helps in, cleansing up. So because psoriasis does, have a lot of inflammation attached to it, it makes sense that you follow this plan. I will not be able to say that the book is going to help you cure everything, but if you're asking what should one eat and avoid, then you should go for the 3-phase TBBD, because you are going to see a lot of improvements in terms of your psoriasis. You're going to see a lot of improvements if you follow this. Then of course you can go ahead and take a step up. Maybe you sign up for any of our consultation programs, but the book is a good place to begin with. So yes, so this is all about milk and paneer, and what I'm going to do tomorrow is again talk about one food जो हमने restrict किया था phase 1 and phase 2 में, how we are going to bring it back and what ways can we bring it back, what is the correct timing, what are the correct recipes, and of course what is the right quality of that. So I'll see you tomorrow 6 p.m. on Instagram. Thank you.